U.S. Conference of Mayors President and Oklahoma City Mayor Mick Cornett.
Thank you for your patience. It is now my honor to introduce the man who in just 3 days will become the 48th Vice President of the United States. He has most recently served as the governor of Indiana. Prior to that, he was a leader in the U.S. House of Representatives. Our guest understands greatly the level of cooperation that is needed between mayors and states and the federal government to help foster economic opportunity, growth, and opportunity for all. A month ago, as I mentioned, our leadership team had the opportunity to discuss some key issues with Vice President-elect Pence, and the moment we mentioned that 300 mayors would be here in our nation's capital for this meeting, he said, "I will be there." And as far as we can remember, this is the first time we've ever had a Vice President-elect attend the winter meeting prior to the inauguration. So it is my great honor and privilege to welcome to the United States Conference of Mayors 85th winter meeting, Vice President-elect Mike Pence. Have you back.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Mayor Cornett. Greetings to all of the distinguished mayors. Welcome to Washington, D.C. It is a city that President John F. Kennedy said combines Southern efficiency with Northern charm. And I'm delighted to have the opportunity to greet you all today. It was also a pleasure meeting with you, Mick, and the group of mayors that came to Trump Tower. It seems like just a few short weeks ago. The President-elect enjoyed the time with you, and I so much appreciated the invitation to come and join you today during this busy week, and to bring greetings from the President-elect, and to wish you all a warm, warm welcome to our nation's capital. I know the President-elect appreciates very much the hard work that the men and women in this room do each and every day, serving as mayors all across the United States of America. So give yourselves a round of applause for the difference that you and your colleagues all make for the American people. Frankly, it's humbling for me to be standing before you today. I'm still getting used to all of this. I know there's a few mayors up on the Diaz and a few out in the crowd that have known me a long time. And someone asked me a while ago, you know, did you ever imagine you'd find yourself in this position 10 years ago? I said, I didn't imagine I'd find myself in this position 10 months ago. Maybe some of you can relate to that. But when the phone call came that night at the Indiana governor's residence, and that familiar voice came across the phone line, he said, "Mike, I've got an assignment for you, and it's going to be great." And I can testify that it has been a journey of a lifetime for my little family, and the opportunity to serve alongside our President-elect is the greatest honor of my life. But it's also humbling to be in a room with so many dedicated public servants, including, as I mentioned, your President, Mayor Mick Cornett, your Vice President, Mayor Mitch Landrieu, your second Vice President, Mayor Stephen Benjamin. Give this great leadership team a round of applause for taking your message all the way to Trump Tower and giving us this warm invitation. I look forward to meeting again and again and working with all of you and hopefully everyone in this room in the coming years. You know, I know from my experience as a congressman and as a governor of the state of Indiana, the sacrifices that each one of you make serving as mayors in your local community. I even see the mayor of Carmel, Indiana, up here with a pretty good seat, my friend Jim Brainerd. You know, I know that even going to the drugstore or the grocery store is an exercise in public service oftentimes. Mayors are on the front lines of public service, and to a large extent, so are governors. Chances are 10 constituents will stop you and tell you about a pothole in front of their house. or the snow that didn't get plowed. Our job as mayors, and my job when I served as a governor, is to stop, to listen, to bring a servant's attitude, and then do all you can in the immediate moment to address the issue. That's what you as mayors do every day, and I just want you to know that your Vice President-elect and your President-elect understand that. But let me tell you, it changes a little bit when you become Vice President-elect. Just the other day, I got a phone call from my wife. I was on my way back to a little house that we've rented here in the Washington, D.C. area, preparing for the inauguration, and Karen called and said that we were out of ice cream. Did you hear about this one? So me and 12 or 13 other cars pulled over at Safeway. I dashed in, I picked up a couple gallons of ice cream for my family, and it became a national news story. I get the feeling I'm going to miss those days when only 10 people stop me at the supermarket to talk about issues. But it truly is humbling. All kidding aside, this grandson of an Irish immigrant finds it very difficult to express to you this week the humbling privilege that I and my family feel. That this week is really a celebration. It's a celebration of the American people and of our extraordinary democracy, which continues to make us the envy of the world. Once again this week, the American people will hold up to the world that display of the peaceful transition of power. I've actually been to 4 inaugurations in my prior capacities, 1 as a governor of Indiana and 3 as a congressman, and got a better seat this time. But it's always been so inspiring to me, no matter who's got their right hand in the air, to see the gathering of men and women, from the present and the past to public service, coming together in this extraordinary display of the strength of democracy. 4 of our 5 living presidents gathered on the stage. I think every American can be proud and cherish the peaceful transition of power that we will celebrate once again this Friday in Washington, D.C. And I would submit to you, and for my part, I think Friday marks the dawn of a new era for our country. It's an era of growth and opportunity and renewed greatness for America. As I mentioned before, I've attended 4 different inaugurations, but inaugurations in a very real sense. Ought to be a time where we as Americans are coming together as a nation. And I want to extend on behalf of the President-elect a personal invitation to every single one of you. I hope as many of you as are able will stay in Washington, D.C. through the balance of this week after your conference and join us on Friday to celebrate the advent of a new administration. We're all working for the people, after all. The President-elect and I are determined to forge strong partnerships between the federal government and the cities of this country. Make no mistake about it. We both believe that you have some of the most important jobs in public service in the nation. Whether you're a mayor of a large metropolis or a small town like my hometown of Columbus, Indiana, the fact is that each one of you in this room who serve as mayors have one of the biggest impacts. Your leadership has perhaps one of the greatest impacts on the quality of life for tens of millions of Americans. You know, I've always had tremendous respect for mayors and the unique role that you play. Really, the importance of the mayoral office is a testament to America's exceptional system of constitutional government. Whether we look around the world, it's easy to see countries that run from their capital city by a few bureaucrats and politicians who think they know what's best for people. But they oftentimes attempt to lead people that they don't know or understand. It's not like that here in the United States. Here, our system of federalism, established by the Constitution, preserved there, reserves the ultimate power in the American people. And after that, to the governments that are closest to them. And the closest form of government to the American people is local and municipal government. And we cherish it in this incoming administration. It's you. It's you, America's mayors, who know the unique problems, I would say especially, the problems your cities face better than anyone else. You see them when you're driving home after work. You see them when you're leaving out in the morning. You hear about them when you talk to your families and friends and the men and women who voted you into office. You live and breathe the reality of local life every day. And therefore, you're best equipped to assist national policymakers in improving the quality of life and the prosperity and the opportunity for the people of your communities. And every day, each one of you, I know, tries to do everything that you can to leave your cities a better place than you found them and help your constituents have a shot at a better life. Well, I want to promise you, as president, Donald Trump and I are both dedicated to help you be successful in what you do, because we believe that government that governs least governs best. And this new administration is going to work in partnership with city halls all across America. Our president-elect believes, as I do, that the federal government can actually play a pivotal role in helping our cities thrive. And it's that new partnership that we have to enliven in the days ahead. That's probably why he spent so much time in the campaign highlighting many issues that are facing America's cities. Remember, after all, he's a New Yorker through and through. And he's seen some of the country's biggest urban challenges and seen some of the country's biggest urban renewals up close and personal. Whether it's children in struggling schools, whether it's challenges in public safety, whether it's the dilapidated state of too many of our roads and bridges, I can assure you, our president-elect understands that America's mayors are facing serious challenges that you can't always solve on your own. So how do we plan to partner with you to help some of those problems? Well, I learned the answer during my 4 years as governor of the great state of Indiana, and I think Mayor Brainerd would back me up on this. I worked hand in glove with Republican and Democrat mayors from Carmel, Indiana to Fort Wayne to Evansville and everywhere in between. The truth is, we all understood. We all understood that while we have elections and we all fly under a different banner, when the elections are over, we all serve the people. And I promise you, this administration is going to be committed to work with Republican and Democrat mayors across America on an equal footing. No politics, just results. The president-elect is actually committed to partnering with all of you. If you look at the key policies that he outlined in recent months, many of them involve working with states and cities for the benefit of America's urban areas. And I called him this afternoon to tell him I was coming by. And in addition to urging me to send along greetings, he said, "Tell him we're going to do an infrastructure bill and it's going to be big." Infrastructure package. It'll have the funding to help communities and states all across America meet the needs that face too many communities and oftentimes stifle growth. Then there's education and education reform. Our administration is committed to helping our communities and our states innovate in education, to give students more options, to free our students from failing schools, and also to promote career and vocational education so young people and adults can get the skills they need to lead fulfilling lives and give back to their communities and local growth. We also, I want to say to you from the heart, the President-elect and I, as we travel around the country, understand the challenges that too many in law enforcement are facing in these difficult days. And I know those of you that lead cities know that while you have the fancy offices, you know the people that do the hardest work are the people that wear the uniforms, that run in when others run out. And I want to assure you that this President-elect, his Vice President-elect, and this administration are going to be deeply committed to stand with you to provide our first responders with the resources and the training they need to accomplish their work for our families and go home safe to theirs. And of course, last but certainly not least, we're going to work with each one of you to unleash job creation in every corner of America so we can get this nation on a path of renewed prosperity and opportunity. President-elect's proposals on regulatory reform and on tax reform, we believe, will be just simply a part of an effort to reignite this economy, encourage the kind of investment in America that will create jobs in America. It really is extraordinary to think about it. The number of companies, in fact, we heard tell that the GM had another announcement yet today, that because of the leadership of President-elect Donald Trump and because of companies seeing our commitment to pro-growth policies, it will simply improve the overall environment for job creation in America. Companies that were planning to build elsewhere are building again in America, and I promise you we're just getting started. Well, I could keep going on, and Mick could probably let me, but I don't want to overstay my welcome, and I sure do hope you'll invite me back when I get that elect part off all the introductions. But let me just say to you, my commitment to you and the President-elect's commitment to you is that this administration is going to be a friend to America's mayors. Now, we may not agree on everything, and our doors will be open to hear the issues upon which we might differ, and we'll listen respectfully. But we all agree. The success of our country depends on the success of our cities, and more importantly, the success of every American wherever they call home, in the city, on the farm, in big cities or small towns. Each one of you are already working around the clock to take your hometowns to the next level, and 3 days from now, I want to promise you that we're going to do everything in our power to help you succeed and to take America itself to the next level too. You know, I said before that this Friday will mark the dawn of a new era, and I truly do believe it. It's a sense of optimism all across the country that people feel. And it's an optimism about new beginnings. And I want to assure all of you on behalf of the President-elect that in the days and months and years that lie ahead, we're going to work with each and every one of you, regardless of political party, to make America great again. Thank you very much, and God bless you in your continued service to your communities and to this nation.
All right, and with that, this opening plenary luncheon is concluded. Thank you.